Revenge on asshole upstairs neighbor. Years ago, I lived in an apartment on the ground floor of a 3-story building. Everything was fine until the lady above me died and they removed the carpets and refinished the hardwood floors. New people move in, a woman, her loser baby daddy and a young girl. The noise was so loud, just crazy. I went up to introduce myself. The man opens the door. I introduce myself and offer my hand to shake. His right hand is behind his back, like he has a gun. The little girls is looking at me wearing mommy's high heels. Now I know what some of the clomping was. I explained the situation and asked if maybe they could remove their shoes when at home we do. But I know not everyone does and I don't really remember his response, but nothing changed. It was stomp 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 day and night. Loser BD didn't work so he was there all the time, clomping. I worked opening shift at a restaurant, so had to be at work at 6 a.m. most days. Needless to say, all his heavy clomping would fuck my sleep up most nights. So to get my revenge I used to put my loud ass alarm clock high on a shelf as close to where I figured their bed was. I'd wake up, make coffee, finally turn it off after a few minutes, but that was not enough. This was in the days of landlines. When I would leave for work, I would crank up the volume on my princess phone. It was fucking loud. Once at work, I would do my opening stuff, have coffee, and whenever I had a moment, I would call my number. I would let it ring and ring. Then I'd wait a bit, do it again. Repeat. I used to do this like every day. I have no idea if it drove them crazy, but I sure as fuck hope it did. I made myself a pledge never live below people again. My wife casually revealed she made out with a girl this year. My wife of 3 years, 10 together, went on a trip out of town earlier this year. She was visiting a good friend and wanted to celebrate moving to a new city. When she returned she told me she developed a lady crush on a girl who was hanging out with them that weekend. My wife and I have had conversations about her sexuality and we joke about her being a theoretical bisexual. She attended a university and has had experiences with other women but never went all the way. We've discussed the fact that I would be open to her exploring that with respect and communication. So we've talked about the crush and she showed me who she was and we had a laugh about it. We ended getting into an argument about it because something didn't feel right to me at the time. Over the course of the year her friend would come down to visit his family and see us as well. We've been friends for 8 years-ish now. Well, guess who's tagging along on these trips? Our new friend. My wife's lady crush. Turns out another one of our friends was also crushing on this girl. Jokes are being made about how my wife has competition now. She was invited to my wife's graduation party. We were staying at a large Airbnb with friends and he revealed to my wife in front of me that my wife's crush had mutual feelings for her. Well, while getting ready to take my wife to a dinner date, she had a glass of wine and at some point during our conversation causally told me she made out with her lady crush all those months ago. It was for fun. We're currently reconciling and I am getting over it. I feel betrayed. I feel like an afterthought. I feel like the butt of everyone's inside joke. This Christmas has been heartbreaking. Thanks for attending my TED Talk. To all who read, self-harm isn't on the table. Just wanted to put his out there and find peace. I'm a black woman who's not attracted to black men. It's ruining my life. I feel like there's something wrong with me. For as long as I can remember I've never been attracted to black men. Like ever since I was a child, I've never been attracted to men in my own race. It's absolutely not because I find black men ugly, I don't think that at all. This is going to sound strange but the problem is that the majority of black men remind me of family members. So I do not feel sexually attracted to black men although I find them physically attractive. I feel repulsed at the idea of having sex with someone of my own race, as it would feel like I'm taking part in incest. It's ruining my life. There are a lot of potential handsome black suitors for me, and I feel like my chances of finding a good man are a lot less because of this problem I have. Of course I can date outside of my race, I have done this before, but I feel like it is a lot harder to find men of other races that are compatible or attracted to black women, so my dating pool is greatly narrowed. I feel like I'm missing out on love because of this strange issue. Anyway, I think I need therapy. I just wanted to get it off my chest. Thanks for listening. BF doesn't approve of my breast reduction. I have been desperately needing a breast reduction for some time now. I wear a H-cup and I suffer from extreme back pains and heavy discomfort. It got worse recently because I'm sagging due to breastfeeding. My nipples literally faces my feet and I hate it. I had a consultation and I want to go as small as possible and I spoke with my surgeon and he can make me a B-cup. I showed him a picture for a reference because I know going off cup measurements isn't reliable. It was a photo of a 34B small-chested women, almost flat, and that's how small I want to go. Surgeon said he can make that possible and I was so relieved, but my BF wasn't. He's actually upset and called me selfish. He is also very anti-cosmetic surgery, but I know it's because he likes big boobs. He understands my pain and he told me to at least make it a C cup. I don't want to compromise on the cup size. I used to wear a C cup and that was still too big for my liking and still has discomfort with having a medium-sized chest. I just want to be flat. I haven't went braless in a long time because it just hurts and it's uncomfortable AF. I literally have to wear a sports bra 24/7 unless if it's just 10 minutes out of the day to shower, but other than that I haven't been braless since I was a teenager. He told me to get a breast lift instead cause I'm sagging like no, I need a full-on breast reduction. He's also using this as leverage because I can get this reduction covered by his insurance if we were married, and now he's making jokes saying he's not going to marry me now or else I'll get a reduction. I could pay for the full procedure myself. I have been saving up for many years, but if I could get it covered fully on his insurance then I don't want to use half of my life savings. Ida for telling my friend's new boyfriend why she broke up with her ex and causing an argument. I 20F and my friend Lucy 23F have been drifting apart recently as she's become obsessed with TikTok poetry and letting it dictate her life and relationships. The worst part was when she broke up with her boyfriend Josh 21 meters after he didn't open a pomegranate in a delicate way. MF, it's a pomegranate. She came to me crying about it because Josh had called her deranged and I told her I agree. We didn't talk like we used to for a few months or so until she told me she'd met someone on a dating app and wanted me to come have a few drinks with them on their first date. I said sure. This guy Max 20 seemed so nice. At one point I asked what they were doing after this and he said if all goes well, they'd go back to her place. He then mentioned something about how she'd brought food to make a fruit and cheese plate and that she'd need his artist hands to cut the pomegranate. I said, oh, just so you know, the pomegranate is a test. If you want this to work, you'll be as gentle with the fruit as possible. She broke up with her ex over this test. He looked at me like I had two heads and asked if I was serious. I said yes. He said he knew she liked poetry and all that but didn't know she was that intense about it. When she got back, everything went well until it was time for them to leave. Lucy called me a few hours later asking me what I said to Max. Apparently as he was cutting the fruit, he accidentally squished a grape and said oops, hope you don't break up with me haha, and it caused an argument where he told Lucy I had warned him about the test. We got into an argument and I said, Lucy, if you want to base your relationships on shitty TikTok poetry, go ahead, but you will be hard-pressed to find someone who fits all your weird expectations. She hung up and texted me some long paragraph about her past relationships and how this poetry is giving her boundaries, etc., and that I'm a bad friend for making fun of her. I have never made fun of her, just pointed out that real life isn't poetry. Ida for telling my parents to figure their own shit out and booking my own flight and hotel. My 19F family is going to Italy in the spring. Due to conflicting schedules, I will be leaving 5 days before them and coming home 4 days after they arrive. My sister 15 was supposed to fly out with me and was going to go home with our parents, but they take forever to do anything. I was looking for flights and told my parents I needed an exact date that they plan on leaving so I could book the flights. They said they'll get back to me. I asked again and they still didn't know. I told my mom that I was booking my flight and they can do theirs later. They figured out the dates after, but the website I booked my flight on won't let me get the flight for my sister because she's not an adult, so somebody's gonna have to call and figure that out. Then I started talking about hotels. I found some that were a decent price, so I showed my mom and she said it's a lot of money, so we have to show my dad and have him approve. The problem with that is that he likes to wait until the last minute to get a hotel. He once booked a hotel when we were in the car driving to that vacation. After waiting a few days I booked my own hotel and told my parents that I got my own place and they can figure their own shit out. Now they're saying I'm being impatient, controlling, and trying to ruin the trip. Ida for telling them to figure their own shit out and taking care of myself. Ida for opening a fake gift during a family Christmas party. Every year, my family does Christmas at my mom's, and she insists that we open all presents together, even gifts between spouses, etc. It's normally an okay tradition, but sometimes it can spark jealousy or comparisons between families. This year, my husband saved up and bought me my dream designer handbag for Christmas. I know some people aren't into that, but it's something that I truly love. We're not well off, but we're not doing poorly either. But I knew that the handbag would cause a lot of discussion amongst my siblings and parents. I just didn't want their opinions and criticisms to ruin a special gift my husband worked hard to get for me. So this year, my husband got me an extra gift that wasn't the real gift. It was a moderately priced skincare set. Christmas came and went without drama, but I recently posted a picture of my husband and our kids at dinner, and my handbag could be seen hanging off the back of my chair. One of my friends commented underneath about how gorgeous my Christmas gift was as well. Long story short, word got back to my family and they totally blew up. Some were annoyed that I opened a private gift separately from the family. Others were criticizing the price of the gift. My siblings are now calling me disingenuous for harboring a secret gift, and they said that I did it because I think I'm better than them. I didn't open it with them because I didn't want their opinions, but now I'm starting to feel like an off for keeping it a secret. I knew either way they'd all criticize me though, since it was so much more expensive than all other gifts, so I don't know whether or not I'm wrong. Ida for expecting my date to cover the cleaning cost of a dress he ruined. I 27 FM in a bit of a dilemma and could really use some advice. I've been seeing this guy for a couple months, and we decided to go to a nice high-end restaurant for a date. Initially I was going to wear a nice dark blue dress that I like to wear out, but he asked me to wear a different white dress that I had shown him once as it matched his outfit. I've never had a guy ask me this. The white dress in question was a gift from my late grandmother and was quite expensive, so I was reluctant but agreed and just asked that we didn't go anywhere after where I might spill something on it or otherwise mess it up. He mentioned clubbing after dinner, which is why I said that I didn't want to risk messing the dress up, and he said we could just go to dinner and I could change out of it before doing anything else. Great. However, the evening took a turn for the worse when he accidentally spilled his red wine all over my dress. He had gotten an unexpected call, and when he tried to quickly mute his ringer, his elbow hit his glass and it spilled all in the lap area of my dress before I could react. It was completely drenched and stained. He was apologetic at the time, and I tried to be cool about it, but inside, I was devastated, especially since I had mentioned specifically how I wanted to be careful wearing it. Later, I mentioned to him that the dress was very expensive and asked if he'd be willing to help with the cost of cleaning or replacing it. To get it professionally cleaned and the stain removed would cost $100, which I asked him to pay half of. To my surprise, he got quite defensive. He argued that it was an accident and that I was being unreasonable for expecting him to pay for something like that, and that it was my fault for wearing it out knowing that it could have happened. I feel like it's a matter of principle. Yes, it was an accident, but the dress is ruined, and it was extremely sentimental to me, not to mention a valuable dress. He thinks I'm being materialistic and making a big deal out of nothing. Now, I'm not sure how to feel about his reaction. Ida for expecting him to cover the cost.